Donald Trump's connection with his supporters remains a significant force in American politics. Even now, in May 2025, this bond continues to be studied and debated. Many people across the country, and indeed observers globally, try to understand its depth. This support is not a simple matter. It is built on a complex mix of factors. These factors range from policy decisions to a unique personal style. Understanding this base is key to understanding a large part of modern American political life. It has shaped elections and policy for years. The loyalty of Trump's supporters has often surprised political analysts. Polls and election results have shown a consistent core of voters. These voters remain steadfast, regardless of controversies or political shifts. This unwavering support has given him a unique position. He can influence the Republican Party and national conversations in profound ways. This essay will explore the various reasons behind this enduring phenomenon. We will look at the political, economic, and social aspects. We will also consider the cultural elements that play a role. To truly grasp the Trump phenomenon, one must look beyond simple labels. It's not just one group or one single issue that drives his support. Instead, it's a collection of grievances, hopes, and beliefs. These came together around his figure. He presented himself as an outsider. He promised to challenge the established order. This message resonated deeply with many who felt left behind. They felt unheard by traditional politicians. His approach was unconventional, and for many, it was refreshing. This deep dive will examine the specific policies that energized his base. It will look at the economic arguments that won over working-class voters. It will also touch upon the social and cultural anxieties he addressed. Major events during his presidency solidified this support. His communication style also played a crucial role. By exploring these different facets, we can build a clearer picture. We can see why his appeal has been so strong and lasting for a significant segment of the population. This exploration is vital for anyone seeking to comprehend the current political landscape. A key reason for Donald Trump's strong support was his image as a political disruptor. Many voters felt frustrated with traditional politics. They saw Washington, D.C. as out of touch with their daily lives. Trump promised to drain the swamp. This phrase became a rallying cry for those who wanted radical change. He positioned himself as an outsider, not a career politician. This was very appealing to people tired of the status quo. They believed he would fight for them against a corrupt establishment. His supporters saw him as someone who spoke his mind. Trump's policy promises also played a significant role in building his base. He vowed to appoint conservative judges, a major draw for evangelical Christians and social conservatives. He promised to build a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border, addressing concerns about immigration. These were clear, strong promises that resonated with specific voter groups. His supporters felt that he was finally addressing issues that other politicians had ignored for too long. They saw him as a man of action, not just words. This directness was a powerful tool in his political arsenal. The anti-establishment sentiment was a powerful undercurrent. Many Americans felt that the political system was rigged. They believed it favored elites and special interests. Trump tapped into this deep well of resentment. He often criticized mainstream media and political opponents as part of this rigged system. This reinforced the idea that he was fighting on behalf of the common person. For his supporters, his attacks on established institutions were not a flaw. They were proof that he was serious about shaking things up. This created a strong sense of solidarity. Furthermore, Trump's rhetoric often focused on national sovereignty and putting American interests first. This America First approach to governance was a cornerstone of his political appeal. It suggested a shift away from globalism. It promised a renewed focus on domestic priorities. This idea was particularly attractive to voters who felt that previous administrations had neglected American workers and industries. They believed that a stronger, more independent America would benefit them directly. His promises were not just about policies, they were about a new vision for the country's role in the world. Economic factors were central to Donald Trump's appeal, particularly his message of economic nationalism. He promised to bring back manufacturing jobs to the United States. He pledged to renegotiate trade deals that he claimed were unfair to American workers. This message resonated strongly in areas that had suffered from deindustrialization. Many people in these communities felt economically abandoned. They saw Trump as a champion who understood their struggles. His focus on Made in America was a powerful symbol of this commitment. He argued that for too long, other countries had taken advantage of the U.S. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 was a significant policy achievement during his term. Supporters pointed to this as evidence of his commitment to boosting the economy. The tax cuts aimed to reduce the burden on businesses and individuals. The idea was that this would stimulate investment and create jobs. While economists debate the long-term effects, many of his supporters saw it as a positive step. They believed it would lead to more money in their pockets and a stronger economy overall. This policy was often highlighted at his rallies and in campaign materials. Trump also pursued deregulation across various sectors. He argued that excessive government rules were stifling economic growth. His administration rolled back environmental regulations and other rules affecting businesses. Supporters, especially those in industries like energy and manufacturing, often welcomed these changes. They believed that deregulation would make it easier for companies to operate and expand. This, in turn, was expected to lead to more job creation and prosperity. For many, this was a common-sense approach to economic management that contrasted with what they saw as bureaucratic overreach. His stance on trade was another key element of his economic platform. He imposed tariffs on goods from countries like China. He argued this was necessary to protect American industries and workers from unfair competition. He also renegotiated the North American Free Trade Agreement, replacing it with the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement. Supporters saw these actions as him fulfilling his promise to fight for better trade deals. They believed these measures would help level the playing field. They hoped it would bring back jobs that had been lost overseas. This aggressive approach to trade was popular with his base. Section 4. Cultural currents and the shaping of social identity. Social and cultural factors played a crucial role in solidifying Donald Trump's support base. Many of his supporters felt that their traditional values were under threat. They saw changes in society that made them feel like strangers in their own country. Trump often spoke to these anxieties. He positioned himself as a defender of American heritage and traditional ways of life. This resonated with people who felt that political correctness had gone too far. They appreciated his willingness to speak bluntly on sensitive cultural issues. This created a strong sense of cultural solidarity among his followers. The media's portrayal of Trump and his supporters also influenced this dynamic. Many of his followers believed that mainstream media outlets were biased against him. They felt that the media unfairly criticized him and misrepresented his supporters. This led to a deep distrust of traditional news sources. Instead, many turned to alternative media or social media for information. Trump himself frequently attacked critical media outlets, calling them fake news. This reinforced the idea that he and his supporters were fighting against a hostile establishment. It created an US versus them mentality. Cultural identity was a powerful motivator for many Trump voters. For some, this was tied to religious beliefs. Evangelical Christians, for example, were a key part of his coalition. They were drawn by his promises to appoint conservative judges and protect religious freedoms. For others, it was about a sense of national pride and a desire to see America assert itself on the world stage. Trump's rallies often featured patriotic displays and a strong emphasis on American greatness. This appealed to a sense of shared identity and purpose. It made people feel part of a larger movement. Moreover, there was a feeling among some supporters that their concerns were being dismissed as illegitimate. They felt labeled or looked down upon by cultural elites. Trump's rhetoric often validated these feelings. He acknowledged their grievances and told them their voices mattered. This sense of being understood and respected was very important. It helped to build a strong emotional connection between Trump and his base. He was seen not just as a political leader, but as someone who truly represented their values and their place in American society. This bond went deeper than just policy agreement. Section 5. Key events and rallies. Forging a powerful bond. Donald Trump's political rallies were a signature element of his campaigns and presidency. These events were more than just speeches. They were experiences. Large, enthusiastic crowds gathered to hear him speak. The atmosphere was often electric, with music, chants, and a strong sense of community. For his supporters, these rallies were a chance to feel connected to him and to each other. They reinforced the idea that they were part of a powerful movement. Trump used these events to speak directly to his base, bypassing traditional media channels. This direct communication was highly effective. Several key events during his term also helped to solidify his support. The appointment of conservative judges to the Supreme Court was a major victory for many of his voters. Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett's confirmations were seen as fulfilling a crucial campaign promise. These appointments were particularly important to social conservatives and those concerned about the judiciary's direction. Each confirmation battle was closely watched and often contentious. For his supporters, these were moments when he delivered on his promises despite strong opposition. This built trust and loyalty. His handling of certain crises, or his framing of them, also played a role. For instance, his supporters often praised his tough stance on immigration and border security. Events related to these issues, such as debates over funding for the border wall, became focal points. His base saw him as fighting for their security and for the nation's sovereignty. Conversely, criticism of his handling of events like the COVID-19 pandemic often did not shake his core support. Many believed he was doing his best under difficult circumstances. They often blamed others for any problems. The communication style itself was a key event, ongoing and evolving. Trump's use of social media, particularly Twitter before his ban, was unprecedented. He used it to make major announcements, attack opponents, and communicate directly with millions of followers. This unfiltered communication was seen by supporters as authentic and transparent. They felt they were getting his true thoughts, not a polished political message. This direct line of communication bypassed the media filter. It allowed him to shape his own narrative and maintain a strong connection with his base, even amid controversies. This constant engagement kept his supporters energized and mobilized. Section 6. The demographic landscape of Trump's supporters. The demographic makeup of Donald Trump's support base is diverse, yet certain patterns have emerged. A significant portion of his support came from white voters, particularly those without a college degree. This group often felt economically left behind. They responded to his promises of bringing back jobs and protecting American industries. Many lived in rural areas or smaller towns. These communities had experienced economic decline and felt overlooked by politicians in Washington. Trump's message resonated with their experiences and their desire for change in their economic fortunes. Age also played a role, though not always in a straightforward way. While younger voters generally leaned away from Trump, he maintained strong support among older Americans. Many older voters were drawn to his conservative social stances and his promises to protect programs like Social Security and Medicare. They also appreciated his emphasis on law and order. However, it's important to note that his support was not monolithic within any age group. There were younger Trump supporters and older voters who opposed him. The nuances within age demographics are complex. Geographically, Trump's support was often strongest in rural and exurban areas. He performed well in the Rust Belt states, where his economic message about manufacturing and trade struck a chord. He also had significant backing in the South and parts of the Midwest. These regions often have more conservative populations. They are also places where cultural and religious values play a significant role in political decision-making. The urban-rural divide in American politics became even more pronounced during his rise. Big cities tended to vote against him, while smaller communities often supported him strongly. Religious affiliation was another important demographic factor. White evangelical Christians were among his most loyal supporters. They were motivated by his stance on issues like abortion, religious freedom, and judicial appointments. Despite his personal history, many evangelicals saw him as a champion for their values. He actively courted this group and made promises that were important to them. This strong support from a key religious demographic was crucial to his electoral successes. Understanding these demographic segments helps to paint a fuller picture of who supported Trump and why their backing remained so consistent. Section 7. Conclusion: Understanding the enduring appeal of Trump. In conclusion, the support for Donald Trump is a multifaceted phenomenon. It cannot be attributed to a single cause. Instead, it is a complex tapestry woven from political, economic, and social threads. His supporters were drawn by his promise to disrupt the political establishment. They were attracted by his America First agenda. They believed he would bring about meaningful change. This message resonated deeply with those who felt forgotten or ignored by the traditional political system. His ability to connect with these voters on an emotional level was a key part of his success. Economically, his pledges to revive American manufacturing and renegotiate trade deals appealed to many. Voters in areas hit hard by job losses saw him as a potential savior. Tax cuts and deregulation were also seen as positive steps by his business-minded supporters. These policies, they believed, would lead to economic growth and prosperity. The economic anxieties of a significant portion of the population provided fertile ground for his message. He effectively tapped into these concerns and offered solutions that many found compelling. This economic dimension was critical to building his coalition. Culturally, Trump connected with voters who felt their values were under attack. He spoke to concerns about national identity, tradition, and social change. His direct, often confrontational style was seen as authentic by his base. They viewed him as a strong leader willing to fight for them. The relationship was further solidified by a shared distrust of mainstream media. Key events and his unique rally style also forged a powerful bond. This connection often transcended policy details and became a matter of identity and loyalty for many of his dedicated followers. Understanding the enduring nature of Trump's support requires looking at all these elements together. Demographics such as education, geography, and religious affiliation all played a part. As of May 2025, his influence on American politics remains undeniable. The reasons for his appeal are varied and deeply rooted in the experiences and beliefs of millions of Americans. Analyzing these factors is crucial for comprehending the current political landscape. It also offers insights into the future direction of American political discourse and voter alignment. The story of his support is still being written.